Hey everybody, I'm sitting here with Dean Graziosi today for a very special episode of the Scale Your Skill podcast. Welcome, Dean. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Paula.
Great. I actually want to congratulate you on a few exciting things that you have coming up because your
Okay.
life is pretty amazing right now. Can I just say that?
Yeah, you know what? I'd have to agree. I've had some low points in my life, but things are moving right now.
Right. So you have a little baby boy coming in. Can I just brag? I'm sorry, but this little boy has no idea what two awesome siblings he's going to have and amazing parents, and he's going to be here
Thank you.
pretty soon, right?
Yes, in 2 months, actually less than 2 months.
I'm so excited. Well, the other thing that I wanted to really congratulate you on, and I'm a new big fan of this book. Everybody, you've got to get it. This is The Underdog Advantage. And I know if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see this right now, but you have to check it out. Dean, this was rock star work here. And I don't say that lightly because I've actually read a ton of things, but this is one of my new favorite books.
Oh, thank you for saying it.
You're welcome. And actually, I mean it from my heart. And it is not just for the business person. Literally, we all can relate to how we have felt like the underdog in the world. Really, most of us. I would say 99% of the planet feels that way, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to write a book. If you notice how simple it is, and if you read Millionaire Success Habits, I try to just write the way I talk because I know we're all busy. We all have a million different things, different kinds of advice being told to us. And and the more I study success, the more I've been a part of it. I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years now. But the more I study it, the more I realize sometimes simplicity lives on the other side of complexity. Like we want more, we want to change, and life seems so complicated. And what do I do? Do I get more technical? Do I do stuff on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, or do I do more brick and mortar, or do I not do that? Do I learn video? Do I not? Do I share my skill? Do I not? We do all these things. And when you really look at what makes success, it's upstream about 4 miles, and it's the foundation. It's overcoming those lack of resources, lack of a proper story. And I really just wanted to dig into the underdog story of my own and then some of the most successful people around and show you that, some of the things, like there's this fictional belief that if someone gave us money, we could start a business. I would bet to say, Paula, every day we get thousands and thousands of DMs. Let's just take Instagram every week. Every day we get someone saying, Dean, I got a great idea. If you give me money, we could be rich. Right? If you would shout me out, if you would just acknowledge me, if you would endorse my book. And I'm not knocking. I love all that. I love that you're going after it. But most people think they need a partner with money. They need money. They need support from their family. People got to start. And we have this craving for resources. But if you really dig into the most successful people in the world, whether you want athletes like Jordan or LeBron James, or world changers like George Washington and Abraham Lincoln,
right,
or John Paul DeJorio or Ariana Huffington, if you dig into their backgrounds, they didn't have resources. They had resourcefulness.
Exactly.
And that's really what I wanted this book to be, is like, most everybody who wants more has everything they need already. The tragic story of your life, the no money, all of that was designed by God, the universe, whatever you believe in. And if you know how to unlock it, that resourcefulness is better than any resources you could ever imagine. And that was my hope. I just wanted people to be done with the book, Paula.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying it. I just wanted people to be done and go, damn it, I got this. Like, I got this. I'm going for it. That's all I wanted.
Well, I'm actually really excited that you shared those words that you just did about your book, because I have a little snippet that I threw into our interview today, and it was just so awesome. It refers back to your book and a story that you tell in there. And so we'll get to that in just a minute. But
okay, good. Let's do it.
How awesome was that? I mean, really, it is. So if you haven't read it, that's The Underdog Advantage. And no, Dean didn't even ask me to say that. I'm just
I didn't
on the spot. I know, because I really am a fan. I really read it, and I really wanted to know more about it. And I personally have been an underdog. So there you go. But finally, I really wanted to say that I'm congratulating you on this mega event coming up with your partners, Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson. Can you tell us, for those of us who haven't heard about the business venture that the three of you are in, can you tell us a bit about what it is and what the name of it is and really what it entails?
Yeah. So here's the thing. If I look back in my own life, if I didn't find self-education, I know, Paula, I had the chance to meet you last year, and I know this is your world, and I see your posts and I watch what you do now, which is really incredible.
Thank you.
I appreciate all you're putting out there for the world. If you don't hear it enough, awesome job.
Thanks.
But if I look back in my life, if I didn't find self-education, I don't know where I'd be. I remember getting out of high school and not knowing what to do. And I wasn't going to college for sure. And my guidance counselor was like, oh, no college. You should work in a factory, right?
Yeah.
There was no in the middle. It was either like, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but like broke blue collar or,
Right.
the sun, the parting, the sky, heaven and earth, going to college. And no one ever said, hey, there's this other path called self-education, where you could find a mentor, get involved in a workshop, read books obsessively, find treasures in courses. No one ever said that. I was lucky enough to stumble onto it and find a mentor. And then I found Tony Robbins when I was 25 years old, and it shifted my life. It gave me a different way, a different lens, and I was never the same. And within 2 years of finding Tony, I went in the information business. I filmed an infomercial. I built a product and got obsessed on changing lives. Right?
That's where I first found you years ago.
Oh, really?
Years ago.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And let me just tell you, I would love to say, I was looking at this like Mother Teresa and I wanted to change the world. That really wasn't it. You know what I remember saying? Tony Robbins took my money. Everybody and my friends told me I was an idiot. My father told me to get a refund.
Right.
He gave me information and it changed my life. And I'm like, man, if I'm going to do anything for a living, imagine if I get to help people and they pay me. I'm in.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm in. Yeah. Sign me up.
I did that. I gave you money early on and I actually learned how to buy homes without much money down. I did it. And then I actually shifted to online education, which we'll get to.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I share that with you because self-education saved my life. And Tony and I have been friends for over a decade. And Tony has the same experience. Tony was living in a car. His mail was being mailed to a 7-Eleven. The manager let him get his mail out of there. And Jim Rohn came into town and he used every dime he could. He went to Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn was the launching pad for Tony's self-education. After I met Tony, I learned about Jim Rohn and Earl Nightingale and Dale Carnegie and Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra and all these people. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking back then, like, why didn't they tell me this in school when I felt dumb?
No, right?
Like this stuff resonates with me and all the other stuff didn't. So that's just the foundation of why Tony and I were so passionate about, or why we are. And we really got together and just been talking about how do we make self-education the new norm? It's already on its way.
Absolutely.
And let me give you a couple hints here. Ginny Romney, the president of CEO of IBM, said, forget blue collar or white collar. I want new collar. New collar is New collar is people who get specialized knowledge, because general knowledge just doesn't work, right? Yahoo, Google, and Amazon are now hiring without 4-year degrees if you got specialized knowledge. So we're already going towards that. It's an industry that used to not exist. It's currently almost at $500 million a day. Forbes says it's going to $1 billion a day. So the world is realizing university, college, not working so much anymore. You didn't evolve fast enough. We get a degree, get debt, it's not working.
Absolutely.
Trial and error, that's stupid. It takes too long. I'm just going to go find somebody who's already done it. Paula, you've already done this before?
Yes,
okay, just share it with me. Right? Like shorten my learning curve.
Please give me the gap to get across from my not knowledge to my knowledge. I mean, I just want to get the knowledge in the end.
Right. So it's like, do I go back to school for 4 years to learn business, or do I spend a weekend with somebody who's actually in business? I'm going to choose the weekend or the Zoom call from the person that's already in business. So we recognize this. We've been doing it. We've been providing courses and training for, again, 60 years combined. So we said, it's time that two people that I believe have been doing it longer, bigger, better than most, and I'm not patting myself on the back, we've just been around the longest, right? Yes, so if we're still relevant, we must be doing something right. So we decided it was time to create the blueprint, to create a gold standard on how anybody with a skill, a passion, a hobby, even an experience they went through can extract it with confidence, understand what they're good at, their superpower, and then how to attract the people that need that, and how to create the process to sell it to them through a variety of channels, deliver valuable information, get paid, and do it again. And we called it the Knowledge Broker Blueprint, KBB. Yeah. And we launched it last year in April, and we did the biggest launch in internet history. Now, what does that mean? It means the world was ready for this. 80 countries, 25,000 people strong, every niche you could imagine. People are now extracting, gaining the confidence, teaching, impacting, changing lives, and doing it over. We have a Facebook community. I know you're a part of it. It is off the charts.
It is amazing.
There's 22,000 people in there, and 106, I just got the number, 162,000 comments a month in that group. Do you believe that?
My gosh. And that doesn't even surprise me. I've been in that group. I've lived and breathed in that group, and those people are uplifting. I just love all of it. I mean, that's why we're interviewing today. It's just, I
Yeah.
am just thrilled. And as an educator, I feel like I have a unique perspective that could be very, I guess it's probably what you would say is unique, because it's not what most people have. They're not formally trained as an educator is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. And
Yeah.
so being somebody on that side, I completely get what you're doing. But anyway, that led actually to my very next question for you, which was, I was going to share my aha moment. And my
Okay.
aha moment was, I went through college. I struggled. I'm an underdog. So I grew up
Yeah.
with, I looked up your birthday, and we are
Okay.
only 3 months apart. So same age, growing up in the same era.
Wow.
Yeah. In the 70s, I was a latchkey kid, went through a lot of divorces in my family.
Same here. We
Although
got the same story.
right? I know it sounds like just the same story, but two different kids, two different
Yeah.
parts of the United States. And basically really had a total disadvantage when it came to resources, as you talk about. But resourcefulness was something else. So I did end up being resourceful enough to get myself through college after 7 years, because I worked during the day. I did everything I could to get that degree in the end. And in the end, I got it, and I had a huge bill. So for a quarter of a century, I have been teaching the regular classroom education to hundreds of children, and I have impacted lives. And have I been
Which is
humbled
amazing.
to be able to do that? Absolutely. And is there a place for education and formal education for children? 100%. We're not
Of course
talking
there
about
is.
educating little kids in front of a computer by themselves.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
so absolutely. So there is a whole different place for that. But what I realized, my aha moment was, I went through all of your tools that are so amazing, you, Russell, and Tony put together. I went through the lessons. I went through all of the software. I looked at the MindMint software, and I became certified as a knowledge broker. And I was thrilled, but I looked back at my cost investment,
Yeah.
and then my time investment. And I literally was able to go through that, really let it sink in. And I'm no genius, okay? I mean, I'm just a hard worker. I'm a regular
Yeah.
gal. And I did the course. I did all of the lessons, watched all of the videos in about a little over a month, and for very small investment monetarily. And I
Yeah.
thought, whoa. I mean, I literally have a business laid out in front of me right now to take off right now. I'm ready. And so after going to college for 7 years and having my degree in hand with the big hefty bill that it came with, that was tough. But
Yeah.
what's your aha moment, just if you want to share real quick, about the biggest surprise in launching and running this knowledge broker business?
First, I love your story. Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you for sharing that. And that's what makes you get things done, because you had to be resourceful and you made it happen. I think it's not really an aha moment. It was a hopeful moment for both Tony and I. We hoped the world was ready for this. We hope people would get rid of their limiting beliefs, where people think I need a degree after my name. This is, first off, and I want to say this, I had some of the most amazing teachers in the world. One of my 11th grade teacher became like my adopted grandmother. I loved her. When she passed away, the month before she passed away, I helped her family out and paid off all of her debt and took care of her. 25 years after graduating high school, she was so amazing. I also had teachers that called me dumb and told me to spell it out, and I must be lazy because I had dyslexia and they didn't realize I had it. And, but what I want to say is this has nothing to do with teachers. When I said that before about the education system, but the fact of the matter is, if you go back 50 years, 60 years, and you look at university or college, wherever you are in the world, you have a different name. If you look at, I could grab my phone and how much the world has changed in 50 years. Just think about the iPhone and everything that's just on your phone. Think of the exponential growth the world has had. If you went to university and grabbed somebody from 50 years ago and you picked them up in a time machine and put them back down in 2020, not much would change in that classroom except the whiteboard. The blackboard is now a whiteboard. That has not the teacher's fault. That's the system's fault. That's that lack of evolution, lack of growing with speed of the world changing, right? So that I just wanted to be really clear on that. And that's why people are going, all right, do I go to school?
Yeah.
Debt, slowness, or do I just go learn from somebody? So my biggest aha moment was this. I knew the world was ready. So did Tony. but we didn't know the world was this ready. Like,
right.
I think it's like we just opened Pandora's box and everybody's like, yes. If you're in the Facebook group, you see it's every single niche possible. Because here's one thing. This surprised me that people got it as quick as they do. Some people are experts. They've been in a job for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Somebody starting at day one, they need you to condense what you learned and give it to them. And they're standing there with their credit card or checkbook saying, I'll pay you for speed.
Right.
That's what we knew, and the world needed that. But then there's the other group that said, I'm not really an expert. I don't know what I'm good at, but I want to do this. So for example, I don't know if you saw the interview where I had a young lady come on. And she said, I've been wanting to give back to the world. I saw what you and Tony were doing. I jumped in, but I'm like, I'm not an expert. I'll be the reporter of other people's expertise. That's how I started. It's how Tony started. We give a whole strategy on that. But then she said, once she started going through the course and she went through the tools and we have a whole part to extract your superpower, we call it.
Oh, and it certainly does too. Yeah.
Yeah. And she said at that moment, she realized that she went through the pain of divorce and realized that her daughter or her son, I forget if it was a daughter or son, deserved her to step up, to be more empathetic, to be more compassionate, to find a relationship with her ex. And she elegantly divorced, and they empowered their kid with their child, with a child-centered divorce. Oh, yeah. And she said, at that moment, I realized that's my superpower. And when I met her, she was on like her 5th workshop of getting parents who are going through divorce.
Wow.
Say, snap out of it. We're going to put kids first. And that's her path now. People are finding that they've gone through a experience, and if they came out the other side, they can stop other people from having to go through the negative part by just teaching. Right. And it's happening everywhere. So I guess that would be my biggest aha.
Yeah. And honestly, I can tell you, seriously, I know I said this before, but I'm a formally trained educator, and I have met so many people with skills far beyond mine who have excellent social skills. They could be a far better teacher than I can, yet I hold the paper. So it doesn't make a difference. I feel like the biggest aha moment that needs to be shared to all of the public, really to everyone, is that you are an educator just because you know a skill, you have a talent, or you can collect that information and share it. So that has been a huge thing for me in sharing it to people and just letting them know you literally are qualified. In fact, the fact that you think you're not qualified makes you more resourceful. Therefore, you become more qualified as the underdog. There you go.
Exactly.
Right? I just love how you explain resourcefulness versus resources, because you tell that great story of George Washington, and he was the ultimate in the underdog, right? In
unbelievable.
Our nation. And yet he was seen as incapable. He was overlooked. And that's the perfect storm that you talk about in your book. And I love that because it creates winners. And that's exactly what's going to happen as soon as people realize, wow, and they have already realized that. They get into this and they go, oh my gosh, this is what I've been waiting for all this time. And I don't want to waste time going possibly to a 4-year college with all that debt. I have a family already, or I just don't have the money, which seems to be the case. So
and there's a lot of people that just are ready for transition. Maybe they went to college 10, 20, 30 years ago. It's time for a change. And we're programmed to say, do I go back to school? Do I just go look for another job? Do I try to figure this out? And I think Tony and I have the voice to say, no, try this. Like, don't learn through your own trial and error. Don't go down the road of hard knocks when, listen, we got 60 plus years. We condensed decades into days. And I'll tell you, Paula, I just said this, and it's so easy to say Paula. It's my sister's name.
I know.
And my dad. Yeah. And my dad's name is Paul. So that's where it came from.
Oh, there you go.
And Paula. But here's why and I'm going to say this to you, and because you went through the course, you're going to go, oh, that's why. So the course really is something that came out so magical, this blueprint on how to do it, from people who never thought they could to people already in the space wanting to go to another level. But here's what it has. It has 3 components. And I think anything in life needs this to be successful. Okay. The first is the mindset. Right? So the wrong mindset, nothing works. If you think I have to be a teacher, I need a degree. It takes money to make money. I need my family to be behind me. Any one of those things will derail you. So the first part of the course is mindset. And let's just be honest. Is there anybody in the world better than Tony Robbins? Just being honest.
The guy reaches a better person after the first video. I was like, where has this been, right?
The guy reaches into your soul and just like changes everything. Well, here's the thing. Wait till you see the 2.0. Tony did
So
4 more
exciting.
trainings that is off the charts. So there's a whole new section with 4 new deep dives over a half hour each training. That's going to just, I was in the studio while he was recording it, and I was taking, I mean, he's my buddy, and I'm like, oh
Right?
my God. I
You're
was just
writing it all
writing so
down.
fast. Yeah. So
Such
but the
value.
first part
Such value.
is to have an unstoppable mindset. And that's what Tony sets you up. The middle part of the course are the tactics, the formula, the strategies that we've learned over 60 years, condensed down in a process that shows you how to put it in play. Not just teaches you, but teaches you it's like the way I feel is every section is an eye opener. Like, oh, I got this. Oh, I got this. But it gives you the blueprint, not something we think might work, just the things we've been using. So now you got the mindset and you have the proven formula. The last piece is what makes the difference. And wait till you see the 2.0 version of the software. The last piece is the implementation tool. That's the software. So now you get fired up, you learn it, and now you go put it in play. Those 3 things are what allowed this course. When I look back, when people say, why are people having so much great results with this compared to other things? It's because it's got all 3. I know for myself, I've been motivated before, but not knowing what to do. I've had great tactical support, but I didn't know how to put it in play. And I've had software that I never used.
Right?
But when you combine the 3, that's where it came out. And wait till you see what we did on February 27th. Their jaws are going to hit the floor. We're going to do something pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I am so stoked. And I can just say, as we wrap this up, that going through it, I have actually taken quite a few courses online, starting way back in the day. One was yours on real estate. And over the years, there have been many times that I have owned software. I have had courses that I've walked through, and some of the pieces were missing. So I never was really able to implement because I couldn't figure out how to teach myself the other parts. And you guys don't leave anything out. Even if 2.0 is even just a tiny bit better than 1.0, I am thrilled because 1.0 kicked it out of the park. It actually just changed the way that people can get going faster. Like we talked about, they can get their own business going. They can use other people's knowledge to do it or their own skill. And it's so phenomenal. It just makes me so excited. Do you have time for just wrapping up?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's wrap it up.
Okay. Well, I wanted to mention a couple things, but we are short on time. So let us know about the dates because we cannot let people miss this live event. I think that last time, like you said, there were a couple 100,000 people and some were having trouble getting on. I mean, literally broke the internet. So
I know we did have a little, let me give you the dates. Now here's the thing. I said it, but I'm going to say it again. February 27th, go to paulaslink.com, paulaslink.com, and you'll register. Now, when you go there, you'll get the dates, you'll reserve a spot, and you need to reserve a spot and you need to show up a little bit early. That's what happened last year. People came in late with a couple 100,000 people. It was hard to get in. So get there 15 minutes early. It's live, not kind of live, and it won't be live again until next year. So you don't want to miss it. And what was I say? Oh, here's the thing. I'm betting if you're still listening to us right now, you're going to go reserve your spot, but that's only half the battle. You got to show up.
Right.
And a lot of times we get busy and we forget, like, oh, there's that thing with Dean and Tony. Yeah. Sign up and put it in your phone. Write it, put it in a sticky, put it in your refrigerator, put it on your laptop, because being a part of the live energy, there's just nothing like it in the world. And again, it's only once a year.
And there was nothing like it. I can tell you right now that it was an event of a lifetime. And I don't say that lightly. The buzz, the vibe, all of the comments, it was absolutely an earth-shaking event. And you do not want to miss 2.0. This is really still a baby. It's still brand new.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's so much room for everyone to do this that it's such a no-brainer.
The last thing I'll say, Paula, is with anything in life, you want you want to be in an industry, or you want to be a part of something to create more money, more impact, something that's rising, right? We don't want to, you and I don't want to go out and invest in taxi cabs. Those days are gone.
Right?
No,
not today.
We don't want to revitalize Blockbuster, right? There's Netflix. And that's where the online education, the information business, the knowledge industry, whatever you want to call it, that's where it is. It's like right where I feel we are right now. It's like being a surfer, and there's a big, huge wave coming in. Those that get enrolled now or engaged in this now get to ride the wave like a surfer. They're in front of it, and the wave pushes them all the way to the shore. If you wait too long, it's like the ones that are out there that try to catch the wave and they go over it and then they're paddling like crazy.
Exactly.
So that's why you don't want to miss this. If anything we said intrigues you, just show up. It's a 2-hour free training. It's with Tony Robbins and myself, and it's going to be off the charts. So
it is going to be off the charts. And I just have to end that with saying it's literally like the new gold rush. I mean, you think about California back in the day and everybody heading out. It's really, that's why so many people are showing up. That's why so many people are putting their faith in you and Tony and in Russell and in this whole new venture that you guys have going on. So don't miss it. You just can't afford to. Thanks so much, Dean, for joining me today.
Thank you, Paula. And I hope to see you in Vegas again.
Yes. Last year was awesome. I was awarded, called up on stage. It was completely humbling, and what a beautiful experience. I don't want to miss it. I'm gunning for that stage again, Dean. I'm telling you.
All right. Okay. We'll see you there, Paula. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.